And by the way, with then changing from iPhone, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Changing from iPhone to an Android was one of the
most difficult.
Of all the things I've done in my life. College,
childbirth. You know what I always
just breaking away from Apple was one of the hardest.
Well, I love that we finally have reached the point where we are our parents with VCRs.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember when you were a kid and like you were like, how do you not understand how to program the VCR? And I'd watch my dad like not. How do I? And I hitting buttons, and I was just like, oh my god, I will never be that old and dumb.
Yes, you
and
are.
Yet here I am, like Indy will be like grabbing his iPad, and he'll be able to just zip through things, and I'm like, whoa, slow down.
I'm gonna need to write this down.
Wait, we're doing Roblox now? Minecrafting? How do I?
Wow.
And he'll be just zipping through, and I'll be like, oh my god, I've
You realize
become my
that is
dad.
absolutely the equivalent of when we used to turn the knob too fast and you'd hear from the other room, don't turn the knob so fast. Did you even have knobs on your TV?
No, what are you talking about?
What on earth are you talking about, old man?
Exactly. That's how TV used to start, is you had knobs, and then when you got into the UHF channel, it was like...
TVs used to have a pull start, like a lawnmower. That's
you wish.
Back in Connecticut, that's how it was.
You make fun, my friend. You make fun, and you're the guy who can't operate an iPad. You're old too, my friend.
Do you remember we used to tease you all the time? Like, that was our running gag.
About being old?
No.
Ironically, I don't.
We used to tease you. We used to tease you about what life was like in Connecticut.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And
like we're the third world country.
One of the biggest things, the biggest difference that we could identify was you called it TV.
Oh, right.
Not
TV.
Not TV. Yeah,
we still do
TV.
this.
Because it's television.
And do you have an aunt or an aunt?
I have an aunt. I love how you laugh. It's like saying, and I would always say the same thing. Yes, you're right, because I was born in August. No, the A and the U make a different sound.
That is not a good argument.
It's true.
Okay,
it's
but the good argument with television was what?
Oh, the good argument with television is because it's television. You don't say television. You say television.
Right. Does make sense. That does make sense.
So it's TV.
TV.
Yeah.
TV.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
we should probably start the show.
We're here to talk about our TV show.
Our TV show.
That we were on.
No, the thing we would always talk to you about was your inflections, because we would back east say like, this is so good. And Ryder would go, this is so good. He'd go up on the end of everything.
I'm the surfer talk. I still talk
and
like
it wasn't. It was like,
know.
that was a strange thing. It was like, dude, this is so great.
I've been listening to the conversations between me and Indy. We're just like the most California surfer dude.
Are you on the 101? I'm going on the 5 to the 101.
You're going to get caught.
Yeah.
So funny.
It's loco.
And
have some
think
tacos.
about the shirts?
Yeah.
Oh, my. We should probably start the show, shouldn't we?
I think
We've
we
got
have.
Marty York waiting.
No. So last week we had Lee Norris on.
Ugh,
I mean, Lee in his giant yellow pants.
How cool was that outfit?
90s clothes were so large. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the 90s jeans are very much in.
Yeah.
Well, those were Ryder's favorite jeans. He loved the
Jinko
Jinko jeans because they had a big enough pocket for your books.
Exactly.
That was the thing that you liked so much.
That's right.
I absolutely remember
Your
that because
paperbacks.
your back pocket could hold the book you were reading.
It's still such a thing for me. Like
Yeah.
I hate that books have gotten bigger. Like I like the old school small
Me
paper
too.
bags.
Yeah.
Me too.
And so books have gotten bigger and back pockets have gotten smaller. So I can't do it anymore. I have to carry a backpack. But
At
yeah,
least
that's
the
right.
music's too
men
loud
still
and-
get pockets in their clothes.
Yeah.
Like women, I mean, if you find a dress with pockets, you're like, does it come in any other colors?
Well, that's why the fanny pack has come back. Finally.
Yeah.
Now everybody's
Exactly.
wearing a fanny pack over their shoulder.
Side
Yeah.
slung.
Yeah,
My wife
Yeah.
always says that. It's like if I find something I like, she's like, I'm getting it in every color.
Yeah, how many colors? And all the way, by the way, if you love one color in particular, get 2 of them.
Get 'em.
Store it away. If something happens to it, you get a backup.
But it is ridiculously long clothing.
I did
on the
not
show.
know
Yeah,
my
very
size.
oversized.
I thought
Well,
I
neither
was
did
large.
they, apparently.
I would wear large shirts and pants with like 36 waists. And I did not understand. It wasn't until I was like 20 years old and I moved to New York and I started buying actual jeans that were not Jenko. And I realized like, I'm actually a size small and a 30 waist.
I'm not a 44 long.
I literally didn't understand like human sizes.
Yeah, that's the way it
Oh
works.
my God.
That's absolutely the way it works. Oh, Lee Norris. That was a great episode, though. But this one is pretty phenomenal
this
as well.
one's really great too. And I'm so excited about our guest this week. He played the iconic role of Alan Yaya McClennan in The Sandlot. He was also the voice of Weasel in Hey Arnold.
Yep.
And as we all know, this idea for this podcast was his.
Well,
It was his idea to start this podcast.
it's just the running thing. It's everybody else's idea, but
Thanks, guys.
everybody else but writers. I just love that Bill Daniels came up with this. This is a great idea.
So, I mean,
No credit. No credit.
Put the credit in your big back pocket, my friend, because it is yours. You get credit for doing this. This is absolutely
All right,
true.
fine. It was writer's idea. But today we are talking to him about being Larry on the first season of Boy Meets World. Let's please welcome Marty York.
Hey!
Could you guys not hear me at first?
No, I didn't hear you at all. No.
Couldn't hear you, couldn't see
Oh, I'm here.
you. Hi.
Marty. Oh my God, so good
going
to oh man, so good to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
You look exactly
man.
the same as you did when
Yes,
you were 12.
on the show. Exactly. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. I ate the beast from the Sandlot.
Well, it worked. Damn.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Sandlot, that is actually my first question for you. Which did you film first? So your first episode of Boy Meets World was also my first episode of Boy Meets World. You were in episode
That's
number
right.
104, Corey's Alternative
Yes.
Friends. Did that come before the Sandlot, or had you already filmed the Sandlot?
I already filmed the Sandlot. That came
Wow.
after.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the
Yeah,
Sandlot
but
hadn't
I
been
think-
released yet, right?
No, it had been released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we had done the pilot with Chauncey Leopardi.
Yep.
But he had already shot Sandlot. And then you came on once our show got picked up, and we were filming 4 or 5 months later, and Sandlot had already come out that summer. So we started in the fall, and Sandlot was out. Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely after. But I still remember seeing Danielle at all the auditions when I was a kid. She had big, poofy, curly hair.
Yeah, that's about right. Those
Your
bangs.
mom had like the same haircut as you. Too.
That's true too. I was a little mini Jennifer Fishel. We both had feathered bangs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
So how did you get into acting, Marty? How did you find you? And where was your mom also had the same hair as you, taking you to auditions? What was your situation?
My mom didn't have the same hair as me, but no, I started in theater in Northern California. I did a lot of theater productions, and my parents split when I was about 10, so my mom brought me out to LA, and my aunt actually ran Cenex Casting, which was a big extras casting company. And so she was like, "Oh, hey, let me take you to your aunt, and maybe we can get you some extra roles and some stuff." So the first thing I did was a movie with John Candy called Delirious.
Oh, Delirious was a great, great movie.
Yes, Mariel Hemingway, John Candy.
Yeah.
Is that the one about the soap opera?
Yeah, it's the one where
That
he wakes
is a
up in the
great
soap
movie.
opera town that he writes,
That's
and
right.
his typewriter is actually hooked to the town, so he can
everything-
actually start writing the stuff that
Oh, I
happens.
need to rewatch that
Oh,
movie.
it is. It's brilliant. It's absolutely.
It's a great
brilliant.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was
we
your
shot
first
that.
job?
Yeah, it was like the Warner Brothers backlot, and it was my first time seeing like a whole movie set and all that. And I remember at one of the breaks, I started doing John Candy's lines, and he overheard me, and he walked over and he like touched me on the shoulder. He goes, "Hey kid, that's pretty good." And he took out a piece of toilet paper and signed his autograph and gave it to me.
On a piece of toilet paper?
Do you still have
Yeah,
it?
I still have it. I still have it.
That's awesome. And so, that moment, did you know then before you became an extra, or does the meeting with John Candy have something with you kind of going, wait, I might be able to do this?
Yeah, it kind of like, because, John Candy was bigger than life back then.
Yeah.
Of course, I knew who John Candy was, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles,
Yup.
and Uncle Buck and all those movies. So when he did that, I was like, wow, Mom, like, I really want to do this. And then, then I went to an agent, and she's like, I got an audition for a Colgate toothpaste commercial for you. That was my first real like audition. And I remember I had to dance with a little girl, and I was so scared because there's all these like producers and directors. I ran and hid behind the chair
Oh my
in
gosh.
the casting room, and they're like, "It's okay, come out." And I kind of like
Oh my God.
was like, and I came out and I actually did it. I danced with the girl, and I got that. That was the first thing I did. It was the first thing I auditioned for.
And you booked
And
it?
then, yeah, I booked it. I booked it.
You're on a roll.
And then I got called back to play a little Italian kid in a ragu spaghetti sauce commercial. That was from the same company.
Yeah.
Wow.
And-
We have
and
very
then,
similar origin
We all
stories.
do. A lot of child actors have that kind of. You always start with the commercial. There's some sort of commercial that is. We all remember our first one of doing something.
Yeah.
I never did a commercial. commercial.
You did
Really?
too. You did the voiceover.
I did the
for one of
voiceover.
the biggest commercials of like all of the late 80s, early 90s.
Yes.
You showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh my god,
I
that's
had
you!"
milk commercial.
I had completely forgotten that I had done that, but I never
You've
did an
just forgot it
on-camera
again.
commercial. Yeah,
I've never done a commercial.
I don't do commercials. Well, except
I've never
for,
been on television in my life.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It was so good.
So, Marty, what did you know? Well, so you had already. So Sandlot was really the big step up. That was when you were a part of a big cast, a great role. And when you were making that movie, did you guys know how great it was going to be, or did it feel like you were part of something special immediately?
I mean, it was like a big summer camp. We shot that. I think we shot that whole movie in like 45 days over the course of 1992.
Wow.
And we just had fun the whole time. Like,
where'd you guys shoot?
We shot in Glendale, Utah.
Whoa.
So
I was thinking.
I wasn't expecting
right
the
outside
Me
of
neither. I
Friedle.
wasn't expecting the Utah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a part of there's a part of Utah looks like, Pacoima in 1962. So they brought in all the old cars, and we had all the old fashioned clothes on, and it was like stepping into the 60s when we shot that movie, because everything was vintage, everything they brought in.
That's so cool.
That must be really cool to be in a giant period piece kind of movie.
Yes. Didn't you do a period piece movie with I'm thinking you did something I saw that it's like a period piece.
Me?
Yeah, it was set in like the 50s or something.
I did one of my first role. Actually, my first movie role was this TV movie called Long Road Home, which was like a Grapes of Wrath ripoff.
Oh, okay.
With John Harmon, Dan, what's his name?
I don't know. I
Dan
wasn't
Harmon.
in it.
Mark Harmon. Mark Harmon.
What is happening
who
here?
you're talking
Writer,
My brains
do
just
you
went through
smell
like.
toast?
All right. Mark Harmon played my dad, and I had two lines. They both got cut. But for 4 weeks we lived in the Central Valley of California. Like they set up Depression era camps. Like, and we were all like, every day was us as like this poor Grapes of Wrath style family. It was really cool. It was
Wait,
like
hold
a
on.
giant
You were there for
playground.
4 weeks to do 2 lines?
Because I was a part of a family. It was basically an extra for the entire. I know.
Wait a second.
I know.
It was a 11-week shoot.
Oh, it gets even worse.
My one line was cut.
It gets even worse because my agents and my parents and do you remember back in the day, maybe you guys did this too, they would send out a postcard to all the casting directors in town if you were in a movie or something?
No.
This is how you would bring awareness, because of course there wasn't internet or anything. So if you were an actor and you were in something, you could send out a postcard with your face, with your headshot saying, Ryder's going to be in this movie on this time. And so my agent, Judy Savage, the great Judy Savage was my agent, blanketed Hollywood, all the casting directors. So it was like my big thing. And then we all sat down with my family to watch it. Maybe this is why I didn't watch Boy Meets World. No.
They David Prowsed you.
I had gotten the call to come to do looping, and I said to my mom, but I only had like 2 lines, and then they didn't call back. So they just looped me. Some woman did my voiceover, so it's not even my voice in the
Tara
movie.
Strong. She does everything.
Yeah, so awful.
Wow.
Anyway,
They David Prowsed you. They full on David Prowsed you.
Well,
That's nice.
we were talking about commercials, and what was your commercial that you did?
My very, very first one,
Yeah.
I actually watched it maybe 90 seconds before you guys got here, because I just
that's what you do
got
every
it on
morning.
DVD.
He starts it every morning. Yeah.
I do. Because I just got him on DVD.
I'm strong enough.
I can do this. I can do this.
Darn it, people
If
like
I just
me.
watch my
Every morning.
my Kids and Guns commercial. No, it was a local commercial for New York City about the dangers of kids playing with guns. And I am running
Ahead of
through
its
the
time.
park, and we're playing with cap guns, and then one of us ends up having a real gun, and we're then all leaning over a body, and
My
and it
super
is
disturbing.
and it is like, first of all, my leaning acting
Not so good.
is the worst leaning acting
I want to
in
see
the
it. Now I
history
have
of
to see
leaning
it. How do
acting.
you lean poorly?
I know.
I will
wanna
show
see
you
it.
after the podcast exactly
And then
how you
send me a
lean
copy
poorly.
of it
I
and we'll
want
put
to
it
see
on our
this.
Instagram.
I want to see this.
In white
Where can we
jeans.
see it on YouTube?
I will
we
put
see
it.
it?
We'll
We'll
find
put
a
it
way to
on.
put
We'll
it
put
up.
it on the Pod Meets World Show Instagram.
Yeah, but it is somehow the
Wow.
worst. Like if they were looking for professional leaning actors, I would not have been. I'd have been cut after a 6-week shoot.
My first commercial was also very serious. It was for a doll that when you pushed a button on the top of her head, she grew her first teeth.
What? That's so creepy.
They had these 3 dolls. They did 3 different things. So one doll, you put an ice cream cone up to her mouth, and she got like ice cream on her lips. Another one, she had braids, and you could pull her hair from the back of her head and
she'd
pretend like
scream.
you were cutting her hair.
Stop that! Stop that!
That's how the
Why,
teeth grow.
mommy? Why?
You gotta pull the hair. That's how the teeth come out.
Oh my
And then mine had a
horrible
hidden
toys.
button in the head, and the two front teeth came down.
So
and I
disturbing.
just remember my dialogue was, "Look, she's getting her first teeth," but teeth was in Danielle high pitch, so it was, "Look, she's getting her first teeth." It's so high pitched.
We're gonna put all our first commercials up.
Okay.
On the because I think it's
that's
important
right, because we have
Yeah.
your milk commercial. We'll
Yeah.
so Marty, send us your
I did
first
a
commercial.
pot commercial.
You
Yeah,
did?
I'll send you. I have a pot commercial I did when I was a kid.
What?
And it's like, those like, this is your brain on drugs.
Oh, okay. Anti-drug. I was going to
dude,
say,
it's
why
so
were they
funny.
advertising cannabis? Like I immediately went to.
12-year-old spokesman.
Here's how Bobby rolls his joint.
Yeah, and I had to act like I was high.
Oh
And I
my
never smoked weed. And they were like, okay, so act like you're high. I'm like, I've never smoked weed. I'm like 12 years old.
Oh my gosh.
So like, they're just like, just pretend like you don't know where you are and like,
Wow.
Just get
Just
dizzy,
like-
kid.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
just
I
like-
learned it from watching you. It wasn't that one, was it?
no,
That-
this was like so they use my actual name and they're like, hey Marty, when's the last time you smoked weed? And I was like,
And you couldn't remember.
no, I can't. And I was like scratching my head and I was like Marty. And that was it.
Oh,
And
that's
I
the
was like,
commercial,
they know
right?
drugs.
He's already losing
He's
brain
already
cells.
losing
Right. And
it.
the tagline at the bottom is "That's some good weed."
Yeah. Now it's legal, so
Um,
it's, tables have turned.
All right, so Marty, when you came on to Boy Meets World, did you have any idea? I mean, the show was already a thing, I guess. We maybe had aired 1 or 2 episodes, or
No.
No.
His first
No.
episode was my first episode.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so nothing
nothing
had
yet.
aired. So,
Yeah.
so what did you know?
Yeah,
What
it
did you
was-
think?
Corey's Alternative Friends. That was
Okay.
the name of the episode.
Right.
Yeah, and that was you were awesome. I remember you dressed up like actually dressed up for Halloween. I remember that.
You were there for the
yes,
Halloween
for the
episode.
Halloween.
Yeah.
I was in the Halloween one. That was the class pre-union, right? That was the
Right.
name of that one.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
I dressed up as Mr. Feeney.
That was
And,
like the coolest thing. You came out as a little Mr. Feeney, which was great.
Yes.
The
And,
mustache, everything was awesome.
But so you were around for a
Yeah.
little while. I mean, how many episodes did you
Wait,
end up doing?
I'm sorry. I think I'm confused. Were
Okay.
you there when when we all dressed up for Halloween on the stage? Or are you saying it was the Halloween episode?
you guys dressed up actually off camera and on camera.
Yeah, I think he was there for the
wow.
actual.
That one, yeah.
Because you were dressed as the Joker.
Yes.
Ryder was dressed as the Joker.
Yep.
That's right.
That's
I
right.
don't
But
know.
that
I
wasn't-
don't think Will participated.
No, I did. I
don't
was
think-
Batman.
Did you?
I had
Oh,
the
you were,
full
that's right.
Michael
Oh,
Keaton
that's
Batman
right.
suit, which I still
That's
wear
right.
most days.
Yeah.
Because it's
He
awesome.
watches his commercial. He
I
puts
do.
on his
I
bath
put on
suit.
my bat suit. It doesn't
Daily
fit quite
ritual.
as much. They are 44 regulars now.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, so you were around. I mean, even the episode we just watched, 106, you were there. I don't even think you had any lines, but you were still there for the whole episode.
Yeah, well, I was there. I think the one we're looking at today is Boys to Mensa, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that one I just had a Halloween mask on, and I had a couple lines at the end of the episode.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I did 3 episodes of Boy Meets World, and I thought I completely messed up because that Halloween episode where I have the lines with William, I screwed up one of the lines. And that was like the last time I was on the show, and I'm like, oh, that's it. I effed it up.
Oh
No,
my
that's
It
why.
gosh.
was no. It wasn't.
But it was the
that.
death chair. It was the.
Yes.
It was
It was
Death
the-
Chair.
We had
yeah.
we were cycling through cast faster
'Cause
than
they
any
just-
show on television.
But that's one of the interesting things about going back and watching from the beginning is as we're all trying to find ourselves as actors, the show is absolutely trying to find itself because
Yeah.
it doesn't know what it is. It doesn't know who's pairing with who or whom, if I want to be that guy.
Be that guy.
And it doesn't the Shawn and Corey kind of start, and then they're like, well, we're going to try to put Eric and
Yeah.
Morgan together. Like they're still trying to fit the pieces together.
Yeah.
So it had nothing whatsoever to do with you. you could tell still didn't know what was going on really.
Yeah.
Where it was like, all right, we got Feeney and Corey and we can't have every scene with that. So we're going to bring in Alan. And then it's like, okay, we can't do every scene with that.
And I think also they were really trying to, I think the prevailing mindset at the time was that you couldn't get everything from Corey's school/friendship life with just one friend.
Right.
You have to have a group of friends and some foils and a love interest. And so we're going to build this universe around Corey. And then what they realized pretty early on was that you can have everything you need from the school friendship life with just one best friend.
Yeah. Well, we saw that with the last episode with Lee, was that same kind of thing where it's like Lee doesn't have any friends except all the friends he hangs out with all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like we hate that kid, so we're gonna hang out with him every day. Like that, it didn't even that was they were just trying to throw groups of people together.
Yeah. Marty, did you know about the death chair when you were sitting in the death chair? Was it like something you guys were talking about off screen?
No. I had no idea about the death chair.
I told my mom when I was like, well, I messed that lineup, so that's it. That's the end of the road
my
for
gosh.
me.
And then they really didn't bring you back and you really thought that was it.
Yeah, and for years, I'm like, if I only would have got that line perfect.
Oh my God. This is
my
Dead
gosh.
Eyes. It's Dead Eyes.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
totally
my
Dead
God.
Eyes. Oh,
I mean, it came out good at the end. I mean, when I saw the show, it was really good. But,
It had, this is probably too late to tell you this, Marty, but it had nothing to do with you. Like, nothing to do with
I
you. They
know.
did not know what they were doing when it came to Corey's friends. I mean, they just didn't have the group together.
yeah.
Probably a little too late to.
Who was your
tell that.
favorite person to work with on Boy Meets World, Marty?
oh man, that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I mean, I've got to be honest, Ryder probably.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
He was
go.
just he was like the nicest dude on set.
Yeah, that's all fake.
So Ryder was your favorite person to work with, which
I
makes
remember
sense.
hanging out with Marty. Like Marty and I hung out. Like I remember just
It makes perfect sense though too.
Yeah, we were always. I mean, we had our our little pack of the not only the guest stars but extras. Like it was a fun time. Like I just remember hanging out. So when Marty, because we reconnected last year at a convention. And he came up and it was like, of course I remember you, Marty. Like, it was so fun to reconnect. The
question is, do you remember the convention? Because I do.
Yes.
Remember where we were?
New Mexico.
Yeah.
No, was it New Mexico?
Yeah, we were in Albuquerque. Yep.
No, but it was so much fun because
Tough
I,
convention.
got to see not only Marty, but all the guys from Sandlot because they were all there.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of which, you guys did a Sandlot reunion last year, right?
Yeah.
That looked so fun.
The big one was 2018. That was the 25th anniversary.
Oh,
We
wow.
did almost every MLB stadium in the United States.
Oh my God.
That's
And,
really cool.
Yeah, and the cool thing was like Dodgers because they did a big thing for us. They had every stadium did Sandlot Day, but the Dodgers went above and beyond, and we went into the dugout, and we actually took our positions on the Dodger field that we played on Sandlot.
Oh my God.
So they called us out, and I went to shortstop. Timmy went to first base. Squints went to outfield. And we all went to our positions on the Dodger field. And literally the entire stadium stood up and gave us a standing ovation.
Oh man.
And it sold out. It was like 60,000 people.
Wow.
And we were just like, and that's the first time me and the guys had really connected in like 25 years. But to come back to that kind of we were just like, what is going on? Like looking around, like, is this real? Like, no
You're
way.
rock stars. You're full on rock stars.
Yeah.
What is that then to reconnect with all of them? Is there anyone in particular you're closer to? Had you not talked to anybody in 25 years?
I talked to a guy played Timmy. We always hung out, for the past 6 or 7 years. But like Smalls and some of the other guys, like Tom Gyree and some of the other guys, I hadn't seen in 25 years.
Wow.
And they were just as blown away as I was when we were doing like the Today Show and all these other interviews. And people were like, freaking out, and like people behind the set, the scenes were coming up and asking for our autograph, and we're like, we're on the Today Show, like, and you're asking for our autograph?
Right.
And it was crazy. And we played a game. We played on the Field of Dreams in 2019
Wow.
against the girls from A League of Our Own.
Oh,
my
come
gosh.
on.
Yeah.
That's
and we also had like some Hall of Famers, like Wade Boggs was on my team.
Oh,
And like Ozzie Smith was on the opposing team, and like Ricky Jackson, and like, so we played with these guys, and then we drove back in Wade Boggs' RV and got like got hammered with it. I drank a bunch of beer. Because I don't know if you ever seen this Sunny in Philadelphia episode with Wade Boggs.
No.
Oh, it's like the beer challenge. He drinks like 98 beers.
Oh, well, that's a lot of
and
beers.
it's real. The guy really can do that.
Oh,
Wait,
what?
what?
How do you
How do you
die?
die?
How do you not die?
He just kept
Practice. Same way you get to Carnegie Hall, my friend.
Yeah.
What a thing to practice.
But we drank, I mean, he was drinking beers all the way back in the RV. And then we got back and did karaoke with him. And then we saw Squints and Wade Boggs singing that Celine Dion song, My Heart Will Go On.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
It was like crazy.
Let me ask you this, because something that occurs to me is that you kind of have to, I hope you like baseball, because you kind of have to like it because you're always going to be associated
part of
with
your
it,
life.
right?
Yep.
And are you good at baseball? Like, can you play?
I wouldn't say I'm as good now as I was when I was a kid, but yeah, I like baseball. Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, you really have to be in shape to be an athlete, and you aren't.
He's very buff.
So when you're that out of shape, Marty,
Are you a bodybuilder?
Working out it was weird because I acted till I was 17. I was constantly doing like guest starring roles and stuff like that. When I was 17, I got in a 60-mile-an-hour head-on collision.
Oh my
On a
gosh.
2-lane road.
Oh.
I died. I actually flatlined on the side of the road.
Are you kidding? Where
And-
was this?
Yeah. This was in where I lived close to like Acton, Agua Dulce area, like kind of like, northern, it's not Northern California, but it's like towards Palmdale. But I flatlined on the side of the road, and after that, I left the business. I was like, I'm done. I was burnt out. I was like going to school all day, then driving 60 miles one way just to get to Hollywood to audition, then driving back home 60 miles. And so I fell asleep at the wheel.
Oh, geez.
And my car went over the, double yellow line. I hit another guy head on, and, had to relearn how to walk again. And all this stuff happened.
Was he okay too?
Yeah, the person was okay. They survived.
Okay.
But
and you died and then came back.
I died and came back. Yeah.
Wow. Can I ask? And, do you have any memory of being dead?
I do have memories. I did see. It was like a long hallway of stars that were like circling.
Wow.
It was like a long hallway of stars. I remember. And I remember like feeling an out of body experience. I remember feeling like I'm floating above myself. And it was like the most calming, like relaxing feeling that I've ever felt.
Wow.
And then when I woke up, I was in a hospital with my leg in traction, like hanging from a metal pole.
Oh my gosh.
So
I was like,
how much later did you wake up? Was this like that later that night, or were you out?
I woke up like 4 or 5 days later.
Wow.
Jeez.
This is crazy.
Yeah. So I shot a documentary for the Peacock channel, NBC Peacock, end of last year that kind of, they talk about my accident and everything. It's on my Instagram page.
What's it called?
It's called it's called Behind the Scenes. Yeah.
Okay. And wait, what's your Instagram handle?
Marty_York.
Cool.
Okay, so
Part of
go
the
check that out.
underscore
Yeah, I'm
team.
looking at that. Go check that
Underscore
out.
team. Worse than the Android.
I know. It's really dumb.
Unbelievable.
Wait, I still can't get over that. I mean, that's insane.
So
Like,
this
5 days later.
This took you out of the acting game after this accident, then, huh? This really,
Yeah, I left, and that was after like, I think I wore the same and I wanted to say this about because you mentioned it, the same the flannel hooded vest.
Yeah.
And like every show I was in, it was like the same thing, that oversized hooded flannel vest.
It was very popular.
But I just remember, I did so many things, and then I was just like, I'm burnt out. I'm not gonna do this anymore. And I left
That's
after
17.
1997.
I know.
That's
and
so
so
crazy.
what did you do?
Yeah. I did random things. I worked in the mortgage industry. I worked in a coffee shop. I did a lot, like everything, really.
Good for you.
And then, about 10 years ago, I decided I was going to get back into the business. And when we did the 20th anniversary of Sandlot, and I did like 3 national commercials the first year I got back in. And, I wanted to be a different kind of a character. I always wanted to be like an action hero when I was a kid. I was like Van Damme and like Arnold Schwarzenegger and,
Sure.
all those guys. So I wanted to reinvent myself when I came back. So
That's why
and the whole bodybuilding thing. yeah, that kind of came from like, I just started like working out after the car accident because I was doing physical therapy.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were like showing me to do this and that, and this is how you build this and that. And I started like really loving, fitness and working out. And I just have done it now for like 15 years, 20 years.
That's great.
Amazing. Isn't that cool how that, like, when you actually can learn the like science behind something and you can notice the difference, you're like, oh, when I do this, it makes me feel this way. Like I notice that if I focus on the fact that when I work out and take care of myself, I don't wake up with like a kink in my neck, and I don't, all of those benefits to working out are so much more motivating to me than like, I'm going to be sleek and small like that. Yeah. I'm like, whatever.
Oh, for mental health too. For my mental health,
exactly,
like
for mental health,
running has like changed my life when it came to anxiety. I mean, it makes such a difference when you do that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's a nice bonus that I'm not wheezing when I walk up a flight of stairs anymore.
Right, that's nice.
But that's not why. It's like has nothing to do with my jeans fit better. It's just like wow, my anxiety's better.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I like being able to like pick up my child without feeling like, oh, just kinked my neck.
Yeah,
oh gosh, it's
I
like
hurt my ankle because I stood.
Right, exactly.
Like
I sneezed and threw my back out.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So
Marty, psychologically, it's great.
It is. It's amazing. But here's the other thing that I think you said that's really interesting is you got burnt out in the industry, you walked away, and you worked a bunch of quote unquote regular jobs. And there's so many people out there that think that like, oh, you're not on camera anymore, and now you're working at a coffee shop, you failed. And it's like, no, what you don't realize is there's a whole lot of people who just went, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And you walk away and there's no failure in it whatsoever. It's no, I'm going to live my life a different way. And you get people that always look at you like, oh God, he's working in a restaurant now. And it's like, no, I didn't want to do what I was doing. So did you ever struggle with that where you were like, well, I made it as an actor, but I didn't make it where I want to, so I had to leave? Or were you always like, I know I could do this for the rest of my life. I don't want to do this anymore. And you just walked away?
I just got to a point where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore because I was so burnt out from just the constant driving and going to school and memorizing the lines and like going on set. And like, I just was like, I'm so tired of this. Like, I just don't, I want to just live a regular life. Yeah. And, I think the acting bug hit me during the 20th anniversary of the film when I was just like, I started like getting that, vibe again.
That buzz.
Like,
I know that feeling.
The buzz. And I was just like, I'm going to give this a shot again and see if I can do this again. And there was never, for me, it was never like, I feel like less of a person for working a regular job. Yeah. I think anybody that works, period, is it's commendable.
Exactly.
You're not living off the government. And, I give props. But yeah, it's just, it is what it is. And,
Yeah, that was what I was thinking to Will's point. It's always crazy to me when people act like it's a big gotcha moment when an actor has a quote unquote real job.
Yeah. You're earning an honest living.
And aside from that, also, what if you have other interests that are like, I worked at Bloomingdale's in the gift wrapping department.
Yeah. You did?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know that? I knew
I didn't know that.
I full on knew that.
Yeah. I liked to wrap presents.
Right.
And I was, that's a crazy story.
Did you ever get recognized?
Danielle?
All the time. But
and you didn't lie? You said...
No, I lied. Or I would just be like, people would say, has anyone ever told you? It's actually not a lie. Has anyone ever told you you look like? And I say yes.
Yeah, I'll do that
and
too.
then we all just sit there smiling at each other. And they're, I think, waiting for me to say, surprise, it is. And I'm waiting for them to then follow up with the question is, are you? But yeah, like you have other interests, you have other things you want to pursue. When I went to college, Cal State University, I went to Cal
I'm
State.
Curious, Danielle, when did you wrap? When did you do this? The wrapping of the presents.
The wrapping of the presents was around. I was like 28 years old, 27.
Wow.
I was
so 2000.
See, 13 years ago. So 2009.
2009. Yeah. Okay.
I was in school. I was going to, I think I was going to Cal State Fullerton at the time. Actually, no, I take that back. I think I was still in community college. I went to community college for 2 years and then I transferred to Cal State Fullerton. And I actually went because, do you want to know the story?
Yes,
okay.
Of course.
All right. So I went to Bloomingdale's to get a gift for Maitland Ward's wedding.
Okay.
So it's the year after Maitland Ward got
Will,
married.
did you get invited to Maitland Ward's wedding?
I did not get invited.
Did you get invited?
I did not. It must have gotten lost in the mail.
I guess we're still waiting for that invite,
Well,
Maitland.
I went to Maitland. I was the only cast member at Maitland Ward's wedding. I don't know.
Were you closer to Maitland than we were?
Yeah, I thought Will would have been the one closest.
yeah.
You worked with her all the time.
Yeah.
I don't
Very
know.
strange.
No, I don't even remember where. I don't remember how. I think she did have my number though, because I think she texted me for my address and then said, I'm getting married, and I was like, wonderful. So I think she did have my number, maybe.
Interesting.
And
We'll have
so-
to ask her
We'll
about
have to
that
ask
when
her
she's on the show.
Exactly.
So I was not as organized back then as I am now. And it was literally the night before Maitland's wedding. And she had registered at Bloomingdale's. And I was like, it was like 5 p.m. or something. And I went to Bloomingdale's in Newport Beach and pulled up her registry and saw that she had registered for these really pretty wine glasses. And I was like, great, I'm going to get her the whole set of these wine glasses. So I asked somebody to help me. They sent them. They said, would you like this gift wrapped? And I said, yes, thank you. Whew, saves me from having to wrap this gift. So they sent it to the back. So I go back there to wait for the gift. And there's a girl back there and she's, working in the customer service gift wrap area, but she's not acknowledging me at all. And so I'm just like, I'm sure she's wrapping my gift, and she's not. She's just kind of tinkering. Then she disappears for a little bit, and she comes back out. I go, hi, sorry, I just wanted to make sure that they told me they were sending the wine glasses back here to be wrapped. And she goes, oh yeah, they're not going to be done tonight. And I go, oh, well, why? And she goes, oh, I've already closed the register. And I go, oh, what time do you guys close? And she's like, 7. It's like 5:30. And I go, oh, well, when are they going to be available? She's like, can you come back tomorrow after 3? And I go, no, it's for a wedding tomorrow. Like I can't, if we're going to gift wrap them, I need them done now. Right. And she goes, well, yeah, I already closed the register. And I go, I'm just confused because it's only 5:30. And she goes, well, sometimes when it's slow, I close the register.
Wow.
Basically, I don't want to help
I'm
you.
not doing it.
I don't want to do anything.
Oh, okay. And I said, I have no problem wrapping it. Can you just give me the materials and I'll wrap it right here? And she goes, okay. Turns around, pulls the paper off the thing, rips it off, hands me the ribbon, the bow, whatever. And I sit down on the floor in the Bloomingdale's customer service department and wrap the gift. Well, who comes back there but the manager?
Oh no.
Comes around the corner and goes, hi, I'm sorry. What are you doing? And I go, oh, I'm just wrapping this gift. She said it wasn't going to be available until tomorrow, and I really need it tonight because I'm a last minute organizer, and whatever. And he's like, no. I am so sorry. What do you? And she's in the back like, I closed the register. And he's like, what do you mean you closed the register? So anyway, I'm like, it's totally fine. I promise it's fine. Let me just wrap the present. So I wrap the present. He looks at me and he goes, that's actually really good. I said, thanks. I love to wrap presents. And he gave me his card and said,
oh my God.
You
got discovered. You had the Hollywood. You got a special thing, kid. You got something, you know what?
kid.
He gave me his card and said, we hire gift wrappers for Christmas.
This is a reverse Hollywood story. This is amazing.
People come in here and I'm like, really? And he hands me the card and I'm thinking, would I be interested in this? I think I might. And I saved the card. And then I thought about it, and then filled out the application.
I just got off the bus yesterday.
And then worked with the girl who closed the register early. And I was really good at wrapping presents, but also I was very good at customer service.
I'm sure you were.
Danielle would like to thank the Academy.
I'd like to thank Bloomingdale's and Newport Beach.
For the
I had the greatest
and that is
time.
why she is that great present wrapper to this day.
I was there. I was just going to be there for the holiday season, and then I extended my stay and worked in customer service and helped people with their bills, and worked the Bloomingdale sale where people would lose their marbles if they thought they got one less $20 off card. I've had a woman lunge across the counter at me. It was incredible.
That's because you were like, I'm sorry, I closed the register. It's 2:30. Yeah. Sometimes when it gets really busy, I just don't want to do it.
I just want to sit back and work on my vocal fry. I like to just make this
She was actually a very nice woman. And it is true that when it is very slow back there, like on a regular day.
Oh, so you became her.
No.
You started closing on the register.
I didn't start closing early, but I did understand the allure of do we really need to do
I love
this?
that you got discovered. Like, wow, these corners are amazing.
That is.
I've never seen a tape job like that.
You only used one piece of tape on this entire thing. How is that possible?
Incredible. You got
Okay, you had a bow machine, didn't you? Because this couldn't be done naturally. We all did that, though. I studied with your brother, Ryder. I studied to be an EMT.
Wow.
at
You
UCLA. Yeah, I mean,
Did
it's
you
like
did you complete it?
no. I was like, we were like
Cool.
a week
Okay.
away from it, and then I got.
Were you
some
there
job.
when Shiloh did the drunk performance?
What?
Okay, so I don't know if you guys have ever had this moment where like your acting kind of becomes like a superpower. Like, okay,
Yeah.
when I was
to hear this
when I was in
story.
college, I would do like creative writing classes, and if we were doing like a play or something, somebody would be like, we'd reread it aloud.
Okay.
And the fact that you could like act would be anyway. And this happened to Shiloh in his EMT class. They decided to do a role play where they're like, okay, now we need somebody to pretend to be drunk.
Oh my gosh.
And like, they were like, oh, Shiloh, could you do this? And he got up and just
Nailed it.
because he can play drunk
Nailed
really
it.
well.
Yeah.
And he nailed it. And the whole class was like, not sure what to do because they were like, oh my God, this guy is acting like a real drunk person. Anyway, he talks about that EMT class is like this
must have
moment
been- I
where he's
must have
like,
been there
all
then,
right,
yeah.
it's kind of like a superpower. Like,
Did Shiloh complete the EMT course?
yeah.
He did.
That's
He's
so
right. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, he's been.
I did that for a little bit too, actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's fun.
I
It
did
was.
all
We
the
had a
effort.
blast doing that. So, and then I got a
Yeah.
pilot, and then I was like, oh, I guess I'll go be an actor again.
So you are back in the entertainment industry. You are still working. Tell us about what you're working on
Yeah.
now. What we can catch you in. All that stuff.
So yeah, check my documentary out on Marty_York and on Instagram and in my LinkedIn bio, whatever. And yeah, I did a really funny Old Spice commercial. Have you seen the Old Spice commercials with
Oh, yeah.
the Isaiah Mustafa, the black
Yeah,
guy that's
he's
on the horse?
hysterical.
Of course.
Yes, that guy is brilliant
Yeah.
too. Like I've never seen someone do a monologue like that, like with the whole set moving around you.
It's intense. Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
have
yeah.
you actually seen how these Old Spice commercials are made?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I haven't.
I hosted
Oh.
a show called The Dish once, and he came on as a guest, and we recreated a little funny, jokey. And he,
Version of
first of all, is the nicest guy,
He's
Very
super
nice.
talented too.
super talented, and
Yeah.
just I mean, what a skill set.
God, that's funny.
Yeah. So that's YouTube executive spray tan parties is the name of the commercial.
Awesome.
Oh, I got to go check that one
It's
out.
really funny. Yeah, it's really, really hilarious.
Oh, that's hysterical.
So I want to talk about what the next episode. So we did Corey's Alternative Friends. Then you were in this episode,
Yeah.
episode number 106. What is the third episode that you did?
Class preunion.
Class
Right?
reunion.
Yeah.
Class
the,
reunion.
dress
That's
Okay.
the
contest.
one where that's where he dresses like Feeney. That's where everybody you go to like what you're going to be in the future.
Oh.
When we're like
Oh, right.
Corey's got the choreos and I can't.
I
think
think
And I
of
say
it.
I'm
Remember
fat. I say like,
Yeah, that's
I'm
your
wearing
whole
a
thing.
fat suit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
my uncle's fat, my dad's
thing-
fat. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be fat.
Is that the one where Topanga's in a toga?
Yeah, that
Yes.
sounds about right.
Yeah,
Yes.
that sounds.
I'm like the
about right.
president of the United States.
Yeah,
We keep
something
all
like that,
men
yeah.
underground for breeding.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
your
I
line?
think that's my
great.
line, yeah.
That's it.
It's
That's right.
actually you would love it if
All right.
it's very of the now.
All right, so when is this coming out? This is like 108 or something?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's later in the season, I think.
Okay.
One
great.
funny thing I noticed, I rewatched some of these episodes before I came on here. I was looking at the episode where I say, "Hey, look, it's Don King."
Yeah.
You know, to Corey, and Ben's mouth is mimicking my lines.
We talked about that. We actually talked about it on the
I'm like,
episode. He's
is Ben-
mouthing
is Ben-
along with you the whole time. Yeah.
Isn't that
Yes.
funny? I didn't notice it,
He's
but
like-
Will pointed it out when we watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like he's like saying my lines, like,
And it's not even subtle. Like he's like full on mouthing your lines along. Yeah,
my
it was
God.
hysterical.
What do you remember
Yeah.
most from that episode?
Oh man, I just remember hanging out with you guys backstage and
Yeah.
talking to you guys and just that camaraderie off camera that you guys have.
Yeah, well, I'm sure
It's
you were
really
in the
cool.
classroom with us. I mean,
Yeah.
that
In
we had
school,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
not-
feel like I was in the classroom like that whole first season, like just doing all the scenes in the classroom. I did so many shows in classrooms when I was a kid.
yeah, well, it's where
That's
kids hang
Crazy.
out.
That's just-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it was the camaraderie between you guys is great, and going to the commissary with you guys. Oh, I do remember going to when you guys hung out with the home improvement kids
Yeah.
at the little rec area.
Oh yeah.
So
Yep.
we were playing
A trailer.
I was playing basketball against it was like Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Zach or whatever. And we were all playing basketball and like John fell down and scraped his knee and he started like crying. And I was like, get up, you little bitch.
No, you said that to him?
Yeah, I said, get up, you little bitch. But we were like,
my God.
My goodness.
This is,
yeah. I was just like a bad kid, man. I just like,
I don't remember
now, were
being
you
a bad
actually
kid.
a bad kid? Like in real life, what was your life like behind the scenes?
I was just a mouthy kid. Like, I played I always played like the street kid, the smart talk, the smart ass, the Italian kid, the quick talker, whatever. But I was kind of like that in real life too. So like it was just translated on the screen. And it was like,
picture that. I see that whole thing with him on the ground.
Well, I have to say, like,
I'm like, get up, you little.
hanging out with the guys from Sandlot was pretty amazing.
Oh man.
Because they have this rapport with each other that is very much guys that play sports, like that were on a team together as kids. Like it feels like you guys are an actual and they all revert to like a sort of teenage mentality and they just give each other it's so much fun to be around. It's a great group of guys. Yeah.
Well, especially for you who doesn't have a whole lot of like stereotypical male energy.
What was your favorite sports team, Ryder?
I like the one where you throw the net into the...
I like the one where they score the wickets.
Yeah. Well,
Ryder is to sports as Ryder is to sports. That's the only analogy I can come up with.
I always got that with Ryder. I always got that. This guy's not really into sports or anything, but that's cool. I really wasn't either when I was a kid. I really wasn't into baseball,
Yeah.
And I had to learn to play baseball when I did Sandlot. So we trained for like, a month out here in LA.
That's awesome.
And we got really good, but I like sports, but I like, UFC and stuff like that now.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Well, Marty, thank you for being here with us. We so appreciate your time. It was wonderful to catch up with you. Please check out Marty at his Instagram, Marty_York. And he's got a link in bio. You can see his documentary. And don't forget to send me or send us your commercial. I'd love to.
Oh, we can't wait to see this.
We're going to put them on the Instagram. We'll do all of our, we'll do reels of all of our first commercials.
Yikes.
Yes. I'm going to send you the link. I'll send you the link. It's actually on my Instagram. So
okay, great.
I can link it to your messaging thing, right?
Yeah, I think you can do that, but also you can email us at podmeetsworldshow@gmail.com. Send it to us there. We'll make sure you have that, and you can email it.
It's so much fun with you guys. I don't want it to end. I love hanging out with you guys.
I know. Well, we'll have to do it again at a con. I think.
This time it will not be in Albuquerque, probably.
I see these guys at cons all the time. Danielle, where are you at? I never see you.
Well, I've been having babies. It's I'm like, I'm almost like pregnant or giving birth.
Congratulations.
Or like, thank you. Or having a newborn. I mean, I only have 2 kids, but it's been in the time since we've started doing conventions. So if you think about how many opportunities I've had to do conventions between, I'm going to have a newborn at that time, or I'm going to be extremely pregnant at that time. It's been a lot in 3 years.
It's a great excuse to just leave your kids, though. A convention. Just leave them somewhere and go to a convention. It's the best.
Oh, I thought you meant leave them at the convention.
Oh, that too. I mean, I guess if you want to. But I don't have kids, so I don't know how they're raised. But I imagine you can't just leave them and put them in crates and stuff like that.
By the way, I listen to your husband all the time on the radio.
Oh, Jensen.
Yes,
he's great. Yes. He's actually executive producer of this podcast.
Podcast brought to you by Jensen.
Cool. In the other room,
he's
watching my
room
child.
right now,
watching my child. That brings the conversation full circle.
Jensen is watching over Ryder's son, Indy. It's exactly what we're talking about. This is
amazing.
This is how we do work here. Well, thank you so much for being here. We can't wait to see you again next time. Thank you so much, Marty.
Great to see you, Marty.
Bye, Marty.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh man, reunions are so fun.
That's awesome.
It was so funny to run into Marty because he doesn't look the same at all. Obviously, he's such a skinny little kid, and now he's like this.
Yeah, in the episode, he's so skinny,
he's such a little kid.
Now he is. I mean, you're gonna have to see a picture of this guy.
Yeah.
He is buff.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him, but the second he said like
Marty
I'm
York,
Marty York, it was like, oh my God, I have like really fond memories of hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And
He was also a really good actor as a kid.
He was great.
A really good actor.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a bummer he didn't stick around. But I mean, that was
I
the
can't get
nature
over
of the
that
show.
whole
They were
story.
just
I know.
Poor guy.
I mean,
to have internalized all those years of thinking like
I meant also
because-
that he died.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant just the fact that he thought
Well,
he got
that
fired.
too.
Because,
I mean,
but I mean
man.
that's the way it is when you're a kid. Like
Yeah.
you oh man, the pressure on a child actor is
I
just
know.
intense.
But it's a pressure on any kid. It also it's
it's one more reminder that things you say or the way you treat somebody, even if it's instantaneous and it's a small kind of thing that happens, can so affect somebody's life.
Well, something can be so small in your life.
Exactly. And
but it can be so huge in somebody else's.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because I was thinking about this recently that like we make and it's true that childhood is like fun and you have no responsibilities. And we always tell kids like, oh, enjoy this time now because once you become an adult, you don't get to have these moments. But also being a kid is so hard.
Oh, yeah.
It is truly so hard. And I think sometimes we minimize it because we're now adults and we know what it's like to have the weight of the world and families on your shoulders and all that stuff, so that we kind of minimize what childhood is to a kid. We're like, oh gosh, junior high.
Yeah,
wait till you're an adult. And really what we should be telling kids more is like, this is really, really difficult, but it's not always going to be like this.
Right.
Sure,
Right.
exactly.
Well, it's so funny because, my son is terrified of things that I think are ridiculous,
Right.
but that doesn't make them any less terrifing for him. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And he said that it was, during the pandemic was a big reality check for me of like, my in-laws moved in with us during the lockdown period, and it was 4 adults and my son living in a house together. And he was like, at one point, after a couple of weeks, he's just like, I'm bad at everything. And I realized like, oh, right, because you're surrounded by adults who can do everything. And we're always telling you, just put your clothes on, just brush your teeth. We're always just telling you what to do. And you're always messing up.
Right. And we're speaking and we're going, here, let me help you.
Yes. And so I've like, that was like the first realization, like, oh, you need to like get to on his level as opposed to always be like,
Sure.
And
it's also, I couldn't imagine being a kid with social media and every other thing else that's out there. It's just horrifying. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, well, we haven't gotten there yet, but at 7.
Yeah.
Although there is a girl in his class who has a phone, which I think is insane.
Is it just one? Do you know if it has data? Is it just for calling out?
It's for calling out, but she can play games and stuff on it. So
That's
and
not
she
good.
has YouTube.
Oh no.
Yeah.
My son wants to be an influencer. He that's what they all want to be.
Oh,
yeah,
they don't
no,
talk
that is
about
the
wanting
thing.
to be.
Exactly.
They
Of
want to be.
Of course.
Yeah, which is just my.
That is what kids want to do now.
How do we fix these VCRs, guys?
Guys, I don't know.
You just
program this.
keep hitting the button till it breaks.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Pod Meets World. You can follow us on Instagram at Pod Meets World Show on Instagram. You can email us your thoughts, tell us more about what you think. We're loving the feedback you guys are sending us now that the podcast is out in the world. You can all hear it and listen wherever you get podcasts. Don't forget to subscribe. But email us at podmeetsworldshow@gmail.com.
You're nailing
There's
that.
also merch.
Oh, there's merch.
Pod merch. We've got our hair logos on a t-shirt, which you can get at podmeetsworldshow.com. And thanks for joining us. We are really having a good time with this.
This is great.
We love you all. Pod dismissed.
Pod Meets World is an iHeart podcast produced and hosted by Danielle Fishel, Will Friedle, and Ryder Strong. Executive producers Jensen Karp and Amy Sugarman. Executive in charge of production Danielle Romo. Producer and editor Tara Sudbaksh. Producer Lorraine Viruez. Engineer and Boy Meets World superfan Easton Allen. Our theme song is by Kyle Morton of Typhoon. Follow us on Instagram at Pod Meets World Show or email us at podmeetsworldshow@gmail.com.